Let's kick this video off with a really simple example of what we're going to be doing. We've got a job and we've got employers. So what you can have is effectively you can have one employer can have multiple jobs. That's what's called a one-to-many relationship. In other words, we've got multiple different kinds of relationships, but we're going to focus on that one in this example. Let me just demo what I'm talking about. We've got our advertising executive. If we open this up, you can see inside there, we now have some information about this particular employer. It's Facebook, the phone number, the email, and so on. And you can have as much information as you want to. It's up to you how you do it. If we take a look at a different job, for example, this social media planner, you can see this one is for Google. So we've got different information, but it's connected to the different job roles. And that's how we're going to do in this video. Now let's start by taking a look at how this is set up. Now this isn't a deep dive into how to use and set up relationships when it comes to ACF, but if you'd like a video on that, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll take a look at creating something for you. So we've got this relationship, this job-employer relation. This will basically link our two different meta groups or our field groups together. If we open this up, it's very simple. The field type is set as a relationship. We've given it a label. We've set it to filter the post by employer, and that's basically all we need to do. And then we set up how we want things to be chosen inside the editor itself. And again, I'll show you that in a moment. We set that up basically to search. So now if we take a look, we've got employer details, which has the phone number, address, email, website, and so on. And in the job details, you can see there's all our basic information. Now we need to be able to pull those two together and output that information using bricks. So I've basically created a template inside bricks that's been set up as the single post template specifically for our jobs. And this is exactly what you can see. If we take a look, we've got the employer, the phone, and the email all set up inside a rich text field. But you can use any other kind of field. You don't have to be limited to rich text, headings, all those kinds of things. So I'm going to go and delete everything that I've got set up here, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can pull in this relationship information into your template. Okay, so there's everything removed. All we've got left is our block, and that's totally empty at this point in time. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull in the relevant data, but we're going to set something else up. Now, in this example, we don't need to have this set up as a loop. It doesn't really matter, but I want to show you how to do it because it actually can be useful. You may have the reverse of this where you may want to output all the jobs associated with a specific employer. Then this becomes incredibly useful. But what we're going to do is we're going to select our block, come over to the left-hand side, we'll enable the query loop and open up our query selector. Inside here, we can choose the post type. Now, you've probably seen posts and pages and all those kinds of things. But now, because we've got a relationship set up, we can access that here as well. So let's choose the list. And what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and you can see anything that's ACF based in this example has this prefix, but it tells us ACF relationship, job employer relationship, which is exactly what I called it. So I'm going to choose that from there. And that's all we need to do now with this. So we basically now have the information available to us and we can output that inside this particular block. So for our example, again, let's come back to our elements. We'll just pull in the rich text because this gives us, in my example, a lot of simple control over styling and so on. We'll pop that inside there. You can see there's our rich text, and let's get rid of everything that's listed in there. And now we can start using our dynamic data. So first of all, we'll just put in employer. So now we put employer in, the next thing we need to do is pull in the dynamic data. Now, first of all, let's click on the dynamic data option. This is set up as the title for our post. So we can't use our ACF data right now. All we need to do is come up to post and choose post title. Now you may be thinking, well, surely that will relate to the post title of the actual job itself and not the relationship that we've set up with the employer. But because this is a loop and we set this loop to be working with that ACF relationship, it's smart enough to know that what we are talking about isn't the name of the post itself, it's the name of the relationship or the relation to our employer. I hope that makes sense, but let me just quickly show you what I'm talking about. Let's save this and preview, and you can see employer equals Facebook. So what it's done is it hasn't taken the advertising executive, which is the dynamic title for this particular post for our job role. It knows because it's set up as a relationship and what relationship to work with that we're going to be pulling in the title of the employer. Hope that makes sense. But now that we've done that, we can now go back to working in the way that we would normally expect. So let's go to the next line. We'll put in phone for the phone number. Again, we'll click on a little dynamic data. Come down to ACF this time, and then we've got all of the ACF fields we have available, including our relationship. Now, at this point in time, and hopefully this is something that Bricks will update and change, all of the ACF fields that we have set up are available inside here, regardless of whether they have any relevance to the page or the template we're currently working with. Hopefully that will change in the near future, and we'll only see the information inside here, or at least grouped together in a more logical fashion. But what we want is company telephone. So you can see there's our ACF company telephone. We can do the same again. Put the email in. We'll click on our little arrow, ACF, choose email. And finally, let's pop in address. And we'll do the same thing again. So bounce down to ACF, and we've got company address. Okay, so now if we want to, we can style any of these. And this is where the beauty of using the rich text comes in. We can style and control all these, do what we want with them. And then we'll hit save. And now let's preview everything. And there we go. You can see employer, Facebook, the phone number, the email, and the address for that particular role. That's all there is to it. We've set the relationship up, we've pulled that dynamic data into a loop, and we've accessed that and output the data inside our template, and that will now show everything we want. Now, because this is using the loop facility, let me just quickly show you that if we add another employer in, how that will also output the data as well. So we've opened up our social media planner, and there you can see underneath all our relationships. So our employer is set up inside here. So let's say Google and Facebook, and for the sheer heck of it, let's do the Wibble Inc. We'll update this and preview it. And you can see now all of those employers are now listed inside there, those details. So you can see how you can use the loop to your advantage should you need to. But if you only actually associate one item with any of the jobs, it'll only show and output one piece of information. And that really is all there is to outputting this information using Bricks Builder. It is incredibly simple to work with, but opens up a real ton of possibilities. But like I say, if you'd like me to dive deeper into this topic, including setting up all the things you need to do with relationships, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll take a look at creating that for you. But if you've got any comments, questions, or feedback on this, let me know in the comment section. As always, my name's Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.